Let's have a real talk about reparations for Black Americans. If you can't listen to or discuss this, then you're not alone. Here's the argument. Black Americans should receive reparations to address the lasting harm caused by centuries of slavery, systemic racism, and discriminatory policies. Reparations would acknowledge the economic, social, and psychological damage that has resulted from this history, including disparities in wealth, education, and health. They would serve as both moral and practical responses to rectify these injustices, providing the compensation for wealth and opportunities denied to Black Americans through the exploitation of their labor and ongoing structural racism. This act could also help in healing racial divides and fostering a more equitable society. Ta-Nehisi Coates, in his seminal essay, The Case for Reparations, argued that reparations for Black Americans are necessary to address the long-standing injustices of slavery, segregation, and institutional racism. He emphasized that the effects of the systems did not end with emancipation, but continued through discriminatory housing policies, redlining, and economic exclusion that have persisted into modern times. Coates contended that reparations are not just about compensating for past harms, but about acknowledging the systemic inequality that continues to impact Black communities today. He framed reparations as a way of addressing a moral debt owed to Black Americans, making the case that the U.S. cannot truly progress until it confronts and atones for its history of racial injustice. Coates stressed that this is not simply a financial issue, but one of justice, healing, and national reckoning. And other groups have received reparations, which strengthens the case for Black Americans to receive them as well. For example, Japanese Americans who were interned during World War II were awarded reparations in the form of monetary compensation and formal apologies. Indigenous communities have also received reparations such as land settlements and financial compensation for historical injustices. Additionally, Germany paid reparations to Holocaust survivors and their descendants. These precedents highlight that reparations are a recognized approach to redress systemic harms. Given the depth and lasting impact of slavery and systemic racism on Black Americans, reparations would be consistent with the U.S.'s responsibility to acknowledge, atone for, and address its legacy of racial injustice, just as it has done with other groups. I usually end these with, what do you think? But I want to specifically pass this to Carissa Knows Behavior and ask her to keep passing it on if she's willing to do the emotional and intellectual labor. If not, then it's all good. Regardless of what you agree with, Black Americans deserve reparations.